Okay, so welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be looking at something that's so important, and that is how to make the most of your interview by asking the right questions.
Yes, exactly. It is your time to shine and make sure that this opportunity is actually right for you.
Yeah, and we're also going to be digging into some sectors where you might find higher salary opportunities if that's a goal of yours, and also why having a solid list of references can really help you out when you're looking for a job.
Absolutely. Having a strong network can make all the difference.
Totally. And all of this insight that we're going to be talking about is coming from this really great article called Nailing Your Job Interview. Key question to ask your interviewer the perfect resume.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're going to give you some really solid takeaways today. So, when you walk into that interview room, you're not just ready to answer the questions that they throw at you, but you're ready to take control of the conversation.
Yes. And really understand what the role and the company are all about.
Exactly. So you've gone through the whole application process, you've landed the interview, which is a huge achievement in itself. Um, but it's that moment at the end, right, when they say, "Do you have any questions for us?"
Right. It almost feels like an afterthought.
Yeah. Does it feel like a bit of a throwaway line?
Yeah. But it's so important.
Yeah, it's anything but a throwaway. It's like a really crucial moment.
It is. It's your chance to turn the tables a bit.
Mm.
You've been answering their questions. Now it's your turn to get some insights
Mm-hmm.
and show them that you're actually genuinely interested.
Yeah. And our source highlights something that I thought was really interesting, which is that the questions that you ask it can actually help you figure out if your own professional values match up with how the company works on a day-to-day basis.
Right. It's about understanding their culture.
Yeah. How do you even begin to work that out just from a few questions, though?
Well, it's about listening closely to how they answer your questions.
Oh, okay.
What are they emphasizing?
Right.
What kind of tone are they using? So, for example, if you ask about teamwork, do they talk about collaboration and shared goals? Or does it sound more like everyone's working in silos?
Ah,
I see.
ignore.
You can also pay attention to what they don't say.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you ask about work-life balance and they just keep talking about meeting deadlines,
Yeah.
that might tell you something.
Yeah, it's like reading between the lines a bit.
Exactly.
So, beyond that whole culture piece, asking questions also helps you to really understand what the job actually involves.
Absolutely. Job descriptions can be so vague.
Oh, they can be so broad.
Right.
They don't really tell you what you're going to be doing day to day.
So by asking about the day-to-day responsibilities, you can
Yeah.
get a much clearer picture.
Yeah. Like, what would my main projects be? Who would I be interacting with the most?
Yeah.
What kind of challenges would I face in a typical week?
Right. All those practical details.
And I imagine that just showing that level of curiosity makes you look good as a candidate as well, doesn't it?
Of course, it shows you're engaged and you've put thought into this specific opportunity.
Yeah. So it's not just any job for you, it's this particular one.
Exactly.
Okay, so we know why it's important to ask questions. Let's get into some of the specifics. Our source gives some excellent examples. And the first one is, what are the day-to-day responsibilities of this job? We've touched on that, but what's like a good follow-up question that someone could ask to dig a little deeper?
Well, you could ask something like, could you walk me through a typical project from start to finish?
Okay.
That'll give you a really good sense of the workflow.
Right.
Or you could ask about the balance between different types of work. Like, is this role more focused on individual tasks or there's lots of teamwork involved?
Okay, yeah. I like that because you really want to get that picture of what your day would actually look like.
Yeah.
Another one they suggest asking is, how is success measured in this role? Why is that so important to understand before you take on a new job?
Well, it helps you understand what's expected of you.
Right.
What are the key performance indicators? How will your contributions be evaluated?
Yeah, you want to know how you're going to be judged, basically.
Exactly. And it also helps you figure out if your goals align with the company's goals.
Okay, this next one is, what are the biggest challenges currently facing the team? I feel like that's a really good question to ask because it shows you're not afraid of hard work.
Yes, it shows initiative
Yeah.
and that you're ready to be part of the solution.
And that you're thinking strategically.
Absolutely. And their answer can also give you some insights into areas where you could really make a difference.
Okay, I like that one a lot. All right, here's another one. Can you describe the team I'll be working with? This is huge, right? Because the people you work with can make or break your experience.
They really can. You spend so much time with your colleagues.
Yeah, so what kind of follow-up question could you ask here?
You could ask about team dynamics.
Okay.
Like, how do they typically collaborate on projects?
Okay.
Or what are some of the different skills and experiences within the team?
So you get a sense of the different personalities and how they all work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this next one is, how does this role contribute to the organization's overall success?
Well, that's a good one. It shows you understand the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's not just about you, it's about how you fit into the company as a whole.
Exactly.
And for anyone who's looking to move up in their career, they suggest asking, what opportunities are there for professional development?
That's essential for growth.
What kind of specific examples would you be hoping to hear back when you ask that?
Well, things like mentorship programs,
Okay,
training budgets, opportunities to attend conferences or workshops,
right.
or even a clear pathway for promotion within the company.
So basically, they're investing in their employees and they want to see them grow.
Yeah, that's the message you're looking for.
Okay, so it sounds like this isn't just a list of like polite questions to ask at the end.
Not at all.
This is about really driving the conversation.
Yeah, it's a chance to gather information and show them how you think.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Now, our source also talks about higher salaries, which is something that's obviously important to a lot of people. So if you're looking to earn more, what kind of sectors tend to offer those higher paying roles?
Well, the article mentions technology,
Okay.
engineering, finance, and healthcare.
Right. Those are kind of the big ones.
Yeah, they often have roles with higher earning potential.
And it even gives some specific examples. It talks about software engineers, data scientists, and professionals like anesthesiologists in healthcare.
Mhm.
What is it about those specific roles that makes them so well paid?
Well, often it's because they require a lot of specialized knowledge
Yeah.
and years of training or education.
Right.
And they're often solving really complex problems.
So like with software engineering, for example, it's more than just coding, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more to it.
What other skills make someone really valuable in that field?
Well, problem-solving skills are crucial.
Okay.
Also, experience with different development methodologies, the ability to work on big projects with other people, and often expertise in new and emerging technologies.
So you've got to be on top of all the latest trends.
Exactly.
What about in finance? For a role like a financial analyst, what kind of background are they looking for when they're offering those higher salaries?
Well, they need a strong understanding of financial principles,
Of course.
really good analytical and monitoring skills.
Okay.
They need to be able to spot market trends and explain complex information clearly.
So it's a lot of data analysis and communication skills.
Yeah, exactly.
So if a bigger paycheck is something that you're working towards, it sounds like focusing on developing those really in-demand skills in those particular sectors, that could be a good strategy.
It's definitely something to consider.
Okay, let's move on to something that I think a lot of people don't give enough attention to, and that is your reference list. Our source says that having a strong list of references is just as important as your resume when it comes to getting a job offer.
Oh, absolutely. References can make or break you.
So why is that? Why are they so important?
Think of it this way. Your resume tells your story,
Okay,
but your references, they back up your story.
I see.
They're people who have worked with you and can vouch for your skills and your work ethic.
So it's like having someone there to say, yeah, they're telling the truth.
Exactly. It gives the employer more confidence in what you're saying.
Okay, so how do you go about building a really strong reference list? It's not just about putting down any old names, right?
No. You want to choose people who know you well and can speak to your strengths.
Okay.
The article recommends having 3 to 5 professional contacts.
So people who've been your supervisor or mentor or someone you've worked closely with.
Right. People who can talk about your skills and achievements.
And it's important to be strategic about who you choose.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want people who will give you a glowing recommendation,
Yeah.
not just someone who vaguely remembers you.
And this seems obvious, but it's so important. Always ask for permission before you put someone on your reference list.
Oh, yeah. That's just common courtesy.
Why is that so important other than just being polite?
Well, it's about respecting their time.
Okay.
They need to know that they might be contacted.
Right, so they can prepare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they can think about specific examples of your work.
And this is another thing that people might not think about. You should actually let your references know each time you're expecting them to get a call.
Yes, that's a
Hmm?
good practice.
Why is that extra bit of communication so valuable?
Well, it keeps them in the loop.
Okay.
They know what job you're applying for, and they can tailor their answers to that specific role.
So they can highlight the skills that are most relevant.
Exactly.
It's all about being thoughtful and keeping those lines of communication open.
Yes. Communication is key.
Now, our source, The Perfect Resume, they actually offer some help if you're not feeling too confident about your resume or your references. What kind of support do they provide?
Well, they offer a free resume review.
Okay, that's great.
So an expert will take a look at your resume and give you feedback on how to improve it.
And is it just the resume or do they help with other things too?
They could help you with cover letters
Okay.
and even your LinkedIn profile.
So you've got that consistent professional image across all platforms.
Exactly.
So if anyone listening is thinking, maybe my resume isn't quite there yet, or I don't know who to ask for references, how can they get in touch with the perfect resume?
The best way is to email them at info@theperfectresume.com.au.
Perfect. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that doing well in a job interview, it's about so much more than just giving the right answers.
It really is.
You've got to ask the right questions to figure out if it's the right fit for you.
Yes. And show them you're engaged.
And having that great reference list that can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
So as you're getting ready for your next interview, really think about the questions you want to ask.
Yes. What will help you understand the role in the company?
And what will make you stand out as a candidate.
Exactly.
And think about this. We've talked about higher salaries and strong references. What steps can you take right now to research those high-paying roles or to build your network?
That's something for everyone to consider.
Food for thought.
Indeed.
Okay. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.